What is going on, YouTube? So we are out here at another event that I came across. It's another 4x4 overlanding meetup. So excited to finally come to another one of these in the DFW area. And this one's over in Allen, Texas at Cabela's. It is the Genesis Overlanding meetup. So quite a few rigs out here, basically a lot of kind of everything. Toyotas, Jeeps. There's a really nice Colorado out here, so gonna walk around, check everything out, see their setups. Ton of really cool setups. We already walked around, but I'm gonna go around and show you guys all the setups everyone has on their rigs and just check everything out. So first up, we got one of my favorite setups out here on this JLU. Just everything about this is super clean. Really like the air setup back here. Just super clean with the tank and the compressor. Valve over there. Looks like this tent has a inside access, so that is pretty cool. Just everything about this. I think this top is just basically replaces the whole factory top. Super clean setup, but you can tell definitely some money into this build. So I have this Tacoma pull up, and it looks like I'm basically sitting about the same. I might have a little more clearance on the front actually, but you look and we are sitting almost identical as far as clearance and height. Looks like he's on some 285/70s, so I got a little bit bigger tire, but possibly thinking of going back to a 285/70. There's a lot more tire choices, and might want to drop down height wise since I can't re-gear to get a little more basically back in the power band. I mean, it does feel a little bit sluggish with the 295s, but I think it's a combination of height and just weight of the Maxxis razors.
Wait for it. So as soon as they came out.
But you can see I got some mud on there from this past week. I've been missing the trails. Had to go back on some of my local back roads / trails that I know about. So washed most of the mud off. So if you live in Texas, you know about our clay mud that doesn't want to come off. It was just basically chunks of mud that I had to wash off. So that is the remnants of the fun I had last night and the night before. Possibly looking at these Coopers. So if you run the Coopers and you like them, let me know in the comments, because that is possibly next tire choice. It's kind of the Coopers and the Falcon Wild Peaks and a couple more of the choices right now, but I do like the weight on these Coopers. I think I can get a 295 that's about 10 pounds a tire lighter than my current setup. So if you like those Coopers, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Really liking the color on this Tacoma. It's like a gray, I don't know what color, it's grayish greenish color. So if you have a Tacoma, you know the color of this, let me know, because I really like this color. Got a couple nice JKUs out here. Love these hardtop tents. A little out of my price range, but definitely like them. Looks like they got about everything you can need to get out and just enjoy the wild.
I'm not one of those guys that sent it. He says I'm a little gentle on it. He says I don't beat it up. He says
Seen a lot of cool full-size rigs out here too. Saw this guy pull up in this Denali. Now that is a pretty cool setup. You got all the comfort you could want, but some capability. It looks like, by the looks of the sides of it, he has taken it out and it does actually get used. But like these bed racks on a truck, I think if I do decide to go with a truck, whatever it might be, I want to go with a bed rack. So I really like that look. I don't know if I'll go with a tent, but I just like the look of the bed rack. I've always been a fan of camper shells on the back. Really clean 4Runner, super clean actually. Like that red. Saw this Lexus. I am a fan of the Lexuses. I definitely like the I think it's a 470 GX 470 versus the newer 460s. I don't like the front end on the newer ones that hangs way down. Basically would have to cut that thing off to have any sort of clearance on the front, because he basically just ripped that thing off. But really like the look of this. Got the Falcon Wild Peaks. Those are, I think, probably 285s. Yeah, those are 285/70s. So possibly going back to that size, like I said. Definitely thinking about a Falcon. Yeah, that's a 470. Really like the look of that. I don't know if I'd probably go that route, just because then I'd have to go with an older rig, since I don't think they make these anymore. But definitely like the capability of these, and I like that you can get a V8 in them versus you can't in a 4Runner. So Toyota, you need to step up your game with your engines. I think it's time for the 4Runner to get a V8. Got a really cool little Subaru Forester setup. Got the tire on top, the awning.
Yeah, the rest of it was just around.
Nice little setup going on. I mean, pretty good clearance on the front of this thing. I mean,
yeah. If there's some signal, it'll help us hold, but it's not.
I think you could probably do quite a bit with this setup. I really like this rack on top. I haven't seen a Subaru with something like that, so definitely cool setup going on. And then right next to it, we've got the full-size rig. In love with these lights. I'm thinking about going with these on the next build. Just these, not worry about any other lights. And honestly, with the amount I've spent on testing different cheap light setups, I've probably spent that on what I could have just bought a set of those. So a couple LP6s from Baja Designs, and I think I'd be good to go. Probably save my squadrons and put those on the next setup, but spend $1,000 on some killer lights and you're good to go. But talked to this guy earlier. Really do like what he's got going on with the full size. You don't see full size builds as much. But very clean setup. Love these drawer setups. Looks like he's got about everything you can need on here. Got my favorite bronze wheels on there. I would have gone bronze, but the wife kind of X'd that out, wouldn't let me go bronze. She said she would absolutely hate it if I went that route, but I might have to sneak them in on the next setup because I love bronze wheels. There's just something about it. They just look so good, especially on black. Honestly, I've seen them on with red, white. They look good with almost every color. Really like these wheels on this Gladiator. I don't know, they say 4 parts on the center cap, so does 4 parts have their own wheel lineup? I'm not sure. You know, let me know in the comments, because I really do like these wheels. One thing that I've criticized on my style of wheel, and it's probably any style of simulated beadlock, is they basically pool water down in the channel between the outer lip and the inside wheel where the simulated beadlock is, and I can't stand it. It's just like every time I wash it or go out on the trails, you just have this pool of water basically sitting in your wheel, and I have to use some air to blow it out. But on the next set of wheels, honestly, I'm gonna really think about that. Method does have their I forget what wheel lock on the, I forget what it's not an actual bead lock, but it's basically they've put some ribs on the inside of the bead on the wheel to, or the bead to keep the tire on. You can drop them down to 10 pounds safely, not have to worry about it. So possibly thinking about that for the next wheel setup. Seen a lot of Jeeps on 37s. The common size is 37 12.5, but my dad, like me, is always looking at his next setup, and he's talking about doing a 37 13.5, and that's what's on this. Those are ridge grapplers, and it's definitely a noticeable difference between the 12.5, and they just look huge. Love the color blue on these newer Jeeps. Thing just pops. And for you guys looking for a license plate setup on your Jeeps, for they have Wranglers. Oh, guys are always asking, what do you do when you have a winch? Well, here's an option. Looks like there's a bracket on there. I personally would have had it on the top up here. That's just me. I don't like stuff hanging down like that, but that is an option for you guys looking for something to put a plate up front with a winch. I had to custom make brackets for mine to work with my setup. Really cool old Land Cruiser out here. Got a really clean setup going on. Very clean. Looks like a ton of, basically mostly factory, but with a lot of upgrade. Very clean setup going on. Got a couple more full-size rigs out here. Really like this camber shell on the back. This almost makes it look like an Excursion, and those were one of my favorite models that Ford ever came out with. Just love the Excursion. Wish they would have kept on with that, but that rack on top is absolutely massive.
The main thing about it,
stretches the whole length of the truck. And then right next to it, you got the Chevy with the Chevy trailer. Looks like this company actually converts these.
And that's even with.
That is a very cool setup. Love these Pro Eagle jacks. A little pricey, but I think you get what you pay for with that setup. Got this drawer set up like the other one out here. And it looks like you can just basically prop this thing out and unhook it, and you can just camp off of that and then take your rig out. Not really a fan of the front of these newer Chevys and GMCs. They just stretch so far down. I think it would look so much better with the bumper cut off about right here. I'm not a fan of how far these things stretch down. I mean, truck sits up pretty high, but this bumper just stretches down basically the same amount. Looks like almost to the ground basically. So I don't know about you guys. and your thoughts on the new Chevy and GMC trucks, but I'm not a fan of the front of them. One of my other favorite builds out here, love these Colorados. This is a ZR2, so it's their top of the line setup. Like that these have factory clearance on the front tires. This is definitely a possibility of a next build. I just really like these. I want to know, if you have one of these, how do these compare to a TRD Tacoma? Because that is another option for a next build. I do really like these. You don't see them nearly as often as Tacomas on the Falcon Wild Peaks. This one looks like it's got a diesel. Interested in that. I did not know they made these in a diesel, so that is definitely a one-up on Toyota. So I am curious to hear about that, if you have one of these and its reliability and just overall off-road presence, because to me you can't beat the torque of a diesel and just overall gas mileage you get out of a diesel. Another one of these rear deck setups. Seems like these are very, very popular. I have seen these in use. They're pretty cool. A lot of storage out of those, and you get the top still, so that is the benefit of running something like that. So some pretty cool rigs out here. Let me know in your comments what your favorite setup was. I think mine might be either the Lexus or the Colorado, but I'm biased because those are probably builds I would definitely do. Definitely like this Jeep behind me though. Probably as far as actual functionality and just things going on in it, it's probably my favorite setup going on. I just really like the Dometic fridge and the whole drawer setup and the air system, just kind of everything they've got going on. So probably my favorite as far as what they've done to the overall rig. So I think we're gonna head out pretty soon, but definitely glad we drove. It was about an hour drive out here. Definitely glad we drove over here to check out some of the other stuff. As always, I'm the only Grand Cherokee out here, so I need some of you guys to come out some of these meets with me. So every time I'm out here, I'll post them up on my Instagram, so make sure if you're not already subscribed to head over there and follow me on Instagram. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that button, because I am probably going to more meets for the rest of the month now that I have weekends off, and I will always have weekends off now that I have a Monday through Friday job. So no more Whataburger. We started something new. Much happier with this new job and happy that I get a holidays and weekends off. But see you guys in the next video, and we are actually going on a road rally next week, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys next time.